Welcome. As we move into the golden years of our lives, we often find ourselves reflecting on how much we've learned, how far we've come, and how much we've experienced. But here's the thing, sometimes, without even realizing it, we can develop habits that slowly create distance between us and the people we love. It's not that we don't care, it's that these small shifts in behavior often go unnoticed, both by us and those around us. Today, we're diving into 12 habits that might be quietly reshaping how the world sees you and how you see yourself. We're not talking about appearance, but those tiny, seemingly insignificant actions that can have a huge impact on your relationships and how you engage with the world. The good news is, awareness is powerful. By the end of this video, you'll have simple, graceful ways to carry yourself with even more confidence, wisdom, and light in your later years. So grab a cup of coffee, get cozy, and let's take this journey together, because growing older doesn't mean fading away. It means shining even brighter. Stick with me until the end, because there's a powerful insight waiting that could transform how you feel about growing older. Neglecting personal hygiene. As we age, we often get comfortable in our routines and may stop paying attention to personal hygiene as we once did. It's easy to overlook the little details, like wearing the same clothes for days, forgetting to brush hair, or letting nails grow too long. But hygiene isn't just about cleanliness, it's a reflection of how we feel about ourselves. I remember a time when I visited my elderly aunt, and she had stopped caring about how she looked. She would wear the same loose clothes day after day, and there was a faint smell that lingered in the room after she left. It wasn't because she didn't care about herself, it was just that the energy to maintain those routines had faded. Yet, the moment she made an effort to wear something fresh and took a few minutes to brush her hair, it was like a light turned on in her. Not only did she feel better, but everyone around her felt more comfortable too. Small efforts like brushing your hair or wearing clothes that are clean and well-fitting speak volumes about how you value yourself. It doesn't take much to show that you still care about the world around you. And that little change? It makes all the difference in how others perceive you. Speaking without a filter. As we get older, many of us feel like we've earned the right to say whatever comes to mind. The idea of being blunt, telling it like it is, might seem liberating. But without a filter, those words, though honest, can sting. I once heard a grandmother comment on her grandson's job, calling it a waste of time, thinking she was simply being honest. But the discomfort it caused was palpable, and the young man began to avoid spending time with her. It's easy to assume that our life experience gives us the right to speak freely, but the reality is that honesty, when delivered without compassion, can alienate others. Instead of pushing your perspective as the only truth, try asking yourself, is this helpful? Is it kind? Before speaking, take a moment to consider how your words will land. People, especially younger generations, need to feel heard and respected, not judged or corrected. Share your wisdom, but also approach conversations with empathy. Speaking with kindness, even in honesty, can transform relationships and create lasting bonds. Wearing clothes that no longer fit properly. Clothing is more than just protection, it's a way to express how we feel about ourselves. As we age, our bodies change, and the clothes that once fit perfectly may no longer feel as comfortable or flattering. It's easy to slip into wearing outdated clothes, items that once made us feel stylish, but now simply hang on us. I remember my grandmother wearing the same ill-fitting dresses for years. They were comfortable, but they no longer fit well. When she finally started buying clothes that suited her body today, her energy shifted. She stood a little taller and smiled more often. It wasn't about chasing trends, but showing respect for the person she had become. Your clothes don't have to be extravagant or trendy, but wearing something that fits well shows you're still engaged with your present self. It tells the world that you care about how you present yourself, not out of vanity, but out of dignity. Interrupting or dominating conversations. We all have stories to tell, And after decades of living, there's a wealth of wisdom we want to share. But sometimes, in our eagerness to impart advice or tell our stories, we unintentionally dominate conversations. I've seen this happen at family gatherings where one elder shares story after story without leaving room for anyone else. And while their stories are valuable, the conversation becomes one-sided, and eventually, others may feel neglected. The solution is simple: listen more than you speak. When you create space for others to share, you invite them into the conversation. Instead of offering advice at every turn, try asking more questions, letting others express themselves fully. When you stop dominating the conversation, people feel more comfortable sharing their thoughts and will start seeking your advice not because they have to, but because they feel truly heard. Listening is a gift. Let others be heard, and your relationships will grow deeper, more meaningful, and more mutual. Complaining about kids these days. It's a common reflex to criticize younger generations for their choices, technology habits, or attitudes. I've heard countless times, when I was young, we didn't have these distractions, or, we didn't need gadgets to talk to each other. While these remarks might seem harmless, they often create a wall between you and your children or grandchildren. Instead of criticizing, try understanding. Ask, what's it like for you today? What challenges do you face in this fast-paced world? Curiosity fosters connection, while judgment builds distance. I remember a time when my grandfather was frustrated with how much screen time my younger cousin had, but when he asked her about her digital life, he began to understand the pressures she faced. This curiosity opened up conversations that were more about connection than criticism. Stay curious about younger generations. By embracing their world, you create a bridge instead of a gap, showing that you value them and their unique experiences. Ignoring modern etiquette. As we age, it's easy to overlook changing social norms. Simple things, like talking loudly on the phone or standing too close in a line, can unintentionally make people uncomfortable. I remember an elderly neighbor who would play loud music in public spaces without realizing how much it bothered others. It wasn't done out of disrespect, but simply a lack of awareness of how things had changed. Modern etiquette isn't about rigid rules, it's about being considerate. Being mindful of your surroundings, whether it's lowering your voice on the phone or respecting personal space, can help you maintain positive interactions. Small gestures, like stepping aside in crowded spaces or being aware of the volume of your voice, show that you're engaged with the present and respectful of those around you. Pay attention to how others are engaging in public spaces. Small acts of consideration not only make others feel more comfortable but also maintain the dignity with which you carry yourself. Oversharing medical problems. Aging inevitably brings health challenges, but constantly focusing on them can drain the energy of those around you. I recall family gatherings where a relative would start every conversation with "my knees are bothering me" or "I'm seeing the doctor again." While these concerns are valid, it can sometimes overshadow the joy of the gathering. Instead, balance conversations. Share your health updates, but also talk about the things that bring you joy, like a book you're reading or a memory you cherish. People are more likely to feel connected to you when you focus on the things that uplift your spirit, rather than just the challenges you're facing. Share your health struggles, but don't let them define you. Your life is full of experiences and stories that are far more than just medical reports. Being stubborn about outdated beliefs. Over time, we develop beliefs and values that guide us. However, these beliefs can sometimes become rigid, preventing us from seeing the world as it is today. I once had a conversation with an elderly neighbor who refused to accept modern views on technology. She dismissed it as unnecessary and wasteful. While I understand the need to hold on to what has worked for you, it's important to stay open to change. You don't have to abandon your core values, but making room for new ideas is crucial. Ask questions and explore new perspectives, whether it's about technology, mental health, or changing societal norms. Doing so keeps you relevant and engaged in the world around you. Openness to new ideas doesn't mean abandoning your identity, it means evolving with the times and staying connected to the world today. Walking or moving without awareness of space. As we age, our physical pace naturally slows down. However, becoming unaware of how we occupy space can inadvertently frustrate others. I've witnessed instances where an older adult stands in the middle of a busy grocery aisle, oblivious to the people trying to get by. The simple act of moving to the side can make a huge difference in how others experience you. Being mindful of how you move, whether walking or stopping, sends a quiet message that you are still aware of your surroundings and considerate of others. Small acts of awareness, like stepping aside for others, ensure that your presence remains positive, not an obstacle. Move with mindfulness and awareness. Your presence will be appreciated when it shows respect for the space and flow of others. Making jokes that don't age well. Humor is a beautiful part of aging, but not all jokes stand the test of time. I've noticed some older people make jokes that were acceptable in their youth but feel outdated and even offensive today. These jokes might have once elicited laughter, but now, they can feel out of touch or hurtful. It's a fine line to walk between humor and respect, but it's one worth considering. Instead of leaning on old stereotypes or jabs, try humor that uplifts everyone. Laughter should create connection, not division. And, if you ever catch yourself making a joke that doesn't land the way you intended, don't be afraid to acknowledge it and make light of the situation. Be thoughtful with your humor. The best jokes are the ones that make others feel good, not small. Acting helpless when you're not. There's a fine line between asking for help and over-relying on others. I've noticed with some older adults, there's a tendency to act helpless even when they're fully capable. This behavior may start innocently enough, but over time, it shifts the dynamic, and people can begin to feel as though they're being treated as caregivers, not companions. Instead, take pride in your ability to manage what you can on your own. Ask for help when necessary, but don't default to it out of habit. People admire effort more than perfection, and every small task you tackle independently will help you feel more confident and connected to your loved ones. Maintain your independence where possible. It helps foster respect and shows others that you're still fully engaged in life. Losing gratitude for the small things. As we age, it's easy to focus on what we've lost: energy, mobility, the roles we once played. But the key to remaining joyful is to focus on the small things: the morning sunlight, a friendly phone call, the taste of a good meal, or the laughter of loved ones nearby. Practicing gratitude for these small, everyday moments helps keep the spirit light. Gratitude transforms how you see the world. When we focus on what remains, not what is lost, life becomes full of possibilities. I've found that the more I practice gratitude, the easier it becomes to find joy, even on the most challenging days. Lesson: keep an eye on the small moments. They hold the key to a richer, more fulfilling life. As we've explored these 12 habits, I hope you've had a chance to reflect on your own behaviors and the ways you engage with the world. The beautiful truth is that no matter where we are in life, it's never too late to make small shifts that can create powerful changes. These habits aren't about perfection, they're about growing, evolving, and embracing the beautiful wisdom we've earned with age. Remember, it's not about who we were, it's about who we are today and how we continue to show up in the world. Each day is a chance to connect more deeply with those we love, to respect ourselves, and to invite others to do the same. So, take a moment and ask yourself, which of these habits will you shift, even just a little, starting today? Thank you for being part of this journey. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment below and share which habit you'll focus on. Let's continue growing, connecting, and shining together. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit from it too. Because when we support each other, we all grow stronger. Until next time, remember, You are worthy of joy, connection, and a life that feels full and meaningful every single day. Keep shining.